Dun, dun, dun. Because every single time the intro song gonna hit every single time. Girl, fix your clothes. First of all, holiness is still right, okay? Because holiness. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all all right? Y'all straight? Welcome to another episode of One Being Brave. I'm so glad y'all here. Like, I missed y'all and y'all missed me. I know you ain't even gotta say it. Like, just you ain't even gotta say it because I know I wasn't here last week. I was under the weather, kind of sort of. I wasn't feeling well, and that just is what it is. But we back, back like I never left. I'm your host, Domo Jones. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. I'm super excited, and we're about to get in because my guests. Okay, because you already know. My guests are top tier. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the house rules. No profanity. Now, y'all know. I don't do that. Not over here. It's so many words in the dictionary. Webster, I see you. No bashing of race, religion, gender, politics, or sexual preferences. Because low key, like real talk, we all family. Like, auntie, I see you. Uncle, I see you. Nephew, we in there. And all y'all invited to the barbecue. Tell them I sent you. Who gonna check for me? Because who gonna check for me? Exactly. I wish they would. In the hood. Or somebody. Or the neighborhood. Not like the real hood, but the neighborhood. Alright, so this show is called 1 Billion Brave because it represents the 1 billion people of the world that have a disability and or medical condition or essential caregiver. Old heads. Y'all know what I'm about to say? Newcomers, new people, catch on quick. Get you one of us in your circle. Get you one of us in your circle. Don't get me because I'm full. But get you one of us in your circle because we are top tier. Like the tiers right here, we're on top of that. You're welcome. It's not my fault that we're so dope. Like our community is so dope. Like it's really not my fault. But once you get like a little taste, like once you get like a little dab of do you, then you'll be like, dang, Domo, why didn't you say nothing? I did. I've been saying it. But some people, they got to learn the hard way, and then y'all be missing out. Like, get you one of us in your circle because, child, when I tell you, it's some perks being with us, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. You figure out the rest. You tried the rest, now try the best. Boris! You tried the rest, now try the best. You can't get no better than that. Like, also, this show, we talk about, this is one of the most important rules. Okay, so hear me very clearly. This show, we talk about Jesus Christ. I don't know why y'all thought we didn't, cause, huh? We gonna always, cause that's the main thing. That's my dog. Like, that's my dog. That's my okay. That's my dog. Like y'all should know. Duh. Like my guy is dope. JC, all right with me. Bart, Domo, the rap game. They not even ready for my rapping skills tonight. They're not even ready for my rapping skills. Also, last rule. This show is one of the very few shows that has a hostess with a disability that interviews guests with disabilities and or medical conditions. Oh, here's y'all know what I'm about to say. Newcomers catch on very quick. Lady O, Tyler Perry, and Mother Ava DuVernay. I'm coming to all three of y'all houses. Like, I'll be over there. It's really very simple. Let's check the board. Lady O, I'm coming to your house. It's getting a little cold. You know, fall time. It's sweater weather. So we about to be in the house by the fireplace. We're gonna talk it up. Girl, get this shoulder together. How about that? We're gonna chop it up for a little bit. Talk. We got stuff to talk about. And after I leave you, after we get our tea and crumpets, we're gonna go up the street real quick to Tyler Perry's house. We gotta chop it up. It's some plays. My life has like 6 or 7 plays that you can make. Movies. You choose. You see me in the location. I'm gonna be there. And after that, it's gonna be time to get our locks done. So we're gonna go to Rockefeller. Me and Mother Ava DuVernay. We're gonna go to Rockefeller. I'm gonna sit in chair 1. You're gonna sit in chair 2, and we're gonna chop it up. It makes sense. It makes sense. Like, y'all just send me the location. I'm introducing myself now. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Domo. Nice to meet you. All right, now that we got the information and all the antics out the way, let's talk about the main thing. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. What does that mean? Why do people do this? Huh? Girl, I'm just saying, it makes sense. Okay? All right, so I got a story time because I ain't seen y'all in a minute. So let's chop it up real quick. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I was given the opportunity to speak at a Boss Chick symposium, right? And the main thing was talking about ambition in business, right? So for those that don't know, I have 3 businesses. Yes. So the theme was ambition in business, and I was granted to be one of the panelists on the show. I mean, at the symposium, right? Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all an inside scoop of what people with disabilities or medical conditions deal with, because y'all gonna get an inside look of what we be thinking about, because it's not like the average. Most people are like, yo, I'm nervous because there's gonna be a lot of people. Not us. Okay, so here's the thing. Walked in, got there, walked in, and because I was a part of the panel, I was considered like going to be included in the VIP section. All right, cool. But I didn't go. It was my mom and I that went. I didn't go because it was too many stairs. Like it was way too many. So the wisdom kicked in, was like, no, it's good. I'ma sit in this section and just wait my turn. Right? All right, cool. So sat in the section, and waited. So I'm looking around. Scoping out the place, and I see this extra large stairs. 13 stairs. Like, it was the highway to heaven. Why are these stairs so high? And so you mean to tell me I gotta walk up these stairs in front of these hundreds of people? Huh? Can you just bring the mic to me? And I sit where I sit. That, forget the people. I didn't care about none of that. I was nervous because I had to walk in front of the whole congregation in this vicinity with all these stairs. How in the world? And for those that don't know, I use a walker and I wear leg braces. So my legs are my biggest limitation. And you mean to tell me I gotta walk up these stairs? When I tell you, the whole time, my heart was beating so fast. And I'm like, Lord, how am I gonna do that, Lord? But I don't want to fall. I don't care about none of these people. I don't want to fall. I'm not nervous about talking. I'm nervous about walking up these 19 flights of steps. These steep. Jesus. But the dope thing is, I had my mom. My mom, listen. When you have a mother like mine, she don't care. Okay? I'm my mom. I'm nervous. She said, I got you. And then on top of that, the way the section was, it was like tables, so I had to maneuver and all that jazz. She was like, "Oh, we got you." One of the ladies was like, "You want help?" And mom was like, "No, I got it." Where did you come from, mom? You came from the woodworks. Help me. Now here's the thing. Got up the stairs. Super grateful that I got the stairs. Now here's the thing. The thing was, after my segment was over, the outfit that I had on, it was included with a long belt. So the thing is, as I'm getting up, as all the other panelists are walking past and I'm getting up, I'm stepping on the belt. So I'm pulling myself down as I'm trying to I'm pulling myself. I'm like, why can I not lift my child, girl? What? And so my mom looking like, girl, why aren't you moving? And I'm like, I'm stepping on my belt. So this was all happening while I'm on the flight of steps, while I'm sitting in the highway to heaven in front of everybody. Child. So I had to maneuver. Like I said, all the standing and walking and bending, it don't work in my favor. So I'm over here like, oh, Lord, I'm not trying to fall back. I'm not trying to fall forward, left or the right. Let this belt lift up from under my foot so I could take a step. Child. But we did it though. We made it. And I made it down the steps in one piece. Whew. So that's the inside scoop of what we be dealing with. That's the stuff that we be thinking about. We don't think about nothing else. We be looking about our surroundings. Can I make it? Can I survive and thrive? That's the thing. Can I survive and thrive with what is presented in front of me? Child. Whew. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. Y'all pray my strength. All right, so my next guest, super excited because she's dope. Like, duh. I don't know why y'all thought she wasn't. That's crazy. But as y'all know, I be meeting my guests 5-10 minutes before the show, and this ain't no different. So we about to hear her story together, and we about to be in there. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? It don't matter. Y'all gotta be ready. Lena, Grace, and Step. What? What? Lena, Gabe. God.
Hello.
Hey, girl.
I'm here for it. I'm here.
Hey, girl.
Hey. I loved it. I pictured it. I pictured the belt. I pictured the stage. I pictured the
Child.
decision making. I know.
I was really looking like, I don't know how I'm gonna get up these 9 steps,
Yep.
and then why can I not stand up? Why am I still being? Is it gravity? What?
Why am I half?
Why am I still bent? Why am I still bent over? Child, it's
I'm
this
just
life.
grateful someone else didn't step on the belt. That would have been.
Oh my
I
gosh,
know.
that would have
Usually
been.
I'm the silver lining person, but not for that scenario.
That would have been wild. All right, thank you again so much for gracing the stage. I definitely appreciate it. Let's get into it, like for real, for real. Can you tell us
Grateful to
where
be
you're
here.
from and who you caregive to?
Yep. I am from New Jersey. My name is Lena Suarez-Angelino, and I am a caregiver to a child with special needs. His name is Zachary. He's super awesome. And I'm also, you could say, a caregiver to a lot more people because I run a Facebook group that's also all dedicated to special needs parents, caregivers, and providers. And then I'm also a social worker. So I feel like I've just been a natural born
Oh,
caregiver to from the start.
yeah.
So I
Right.
this was always the path, and the path just continues to broaden and widen and continue to reach more and more people every day.
I love
So,
it. Yeah, that.
and this is also Ninja. He will also periodically
Hey,
join us.
Ninja.
So,
Right, he can
so
come
we're
in
just hanging
too.
out.
He's gonna be your special guest. All right, so let's get into you caregiving to your son. Can you tell
Mhm.
us what condition he has?
I wish I could because I wish the doctors could figure it out. But as it stands, we have global developmental delay, hypotonia, so low muscle tone for those that don't know, and a vision impairment, so congenital exotropia. So far, we've had his genetic testing has come back, inconclusive or normal. So no genetic disorder has been found, and we've even been blessed enough to be able to get the whole genome sequencing done. And again, still no answers. MRIs have come back normal and clean and everything, and so we're still in the dark when it comes to diagnosis for him.
Man,
So,
so with the
but we're looking at a child who is 86 pounds, not walking, 6 years old, and isn't really verbal either. So it's like, okay, there's a lot, evidently, I shouldn't say wrong, but right, there's a lot going on to signify
yeah.
more than just global delays. Um, and so, but yeah, there's nothing to pinpoint reasons as to why. We
So
begin casting tomorrow again too, serial casting for his ankles. So
and so with him and his conditions, hey Marley girl, love you. With him and his conditions, what kind of side effects or what are some of the things that he deals with that you guys have to kind of monitor?
Um, the biggest one that I think we've struggled with for a long time, but we've regulated it on more of like a holistic level is constipation. Because of the low muscle tone, everything you do is related to that. So coming when
Mm,
it comes to chewing his food, digesting his food, so I think that that low muscle tone has really made an impact on just if he's not moving, he's not really able to move his body as often. He'll kind of like lay on the floor, and he doesn't crawl necessarily in where he's taking step like movement towards, but he'll kind of like sit, roll, move about, but he's not really getting that reciprocal stepping to where he's able to kind of move his bowel. So if he sits too long, so again, kind of managing his weight has become one of the greater challenges. So that kind of like couples with the constipation, because again, if you're just sitting on your stomach and not really allowing yourself to digest. So that I feel like I've become an unofficial poop expert in all the holistic ways of, what foods to avoid for him. And he's a great eater. Like, he's not a picky eater. So we're grateful for that as well. He's a true Leo. Shout out to all my Leo. I'm a Cancer, so I'm crying about all things. I might cry during this too, depending on our questions and where the conversation goes. But he is a true Leo. Sing him happy birthday, sing him jingle bells, sing him, you know, all the
yeah, yeah.
things, and he is here for it. Loves to be the star of the show. If he wasn't sleeping, I would totally bring him in. Um, but yeah, so it's just all the things. But yeah, so I think managing his weight has been like the next thing that we're like, okay, we have to try and get him on a tricycle and get him to do things. There's Fortunately, there's a beachfront access pool that's not too far away from us that I
Mhm.
can try. Now that we're about to cast, I can't really have him in the pool, but prior to that, I was able to try and bring him into the pool, just to kind of get his body moving and grooving. So and we love his school, but I'm gonna let you keep asking some more questions. I could talk about him for days, which is why I'm here.
No, I love it. I love it. That shows the compassion,
Yeah.
and the mom of you. So you did mention that he's going to be put in the cast.
Yep. So he's done casting before when he was probably like I don't know, maybe three-ish. And so again, so now about 3 years later, we're still working on that ankle mobility. We really feel like it is a
Mm,
muscular issue and a structural issue. His legs are of even height, and so it's not necessarily like bone structure wise, but
right.
more of that toning, more of that like that flexibility. So
Hmm.
he just got the Botox, I think, last week, and so now tomorrow we start that next round of casting. So each week we'll get a new set of casts, that'll help kind of with at right now he's kind of, this is exaggerated, but like at a straighter angle. So the idea is that it looks weirder on camera. In my mind, it makes more sense. But when I go like this, it's easier. There we go. So like
Yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
probably at like a little bit of a straighter angle. So when you stand, you want to kind of picture that this is your foot upside down. But
Yeah,
so it'll help with bending it.
like a
So
90-degree angle.
yeah, creating that
I
90
love
degree
it.
angle. So then, because then that'll help with that core, that'll help
Mm-hmm.
with getting a straighter posture up. So he's a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more confident for that. So
Yeah, no, that
yeah.
makes sense. That definitely
Yep.
makes.
Yep. So
Um,
we're on our first pair of SMOs, so the shorter orthotics, but we've had 3 pairs of AFOs. We'll get another new pair of AFOs, the ankle foot orthotics after that. When you said braces, I'm sure you've had your dance or two with AFOs and SMOs and all
Yes.
the shoes that don't fit them. So,
Yes.
and the
Oh my
socks that
God.
cost way too much for one pair, but
Oh my, yes. And I have two AFOs on. I
yeah.
wear two AFOs. So
What design
my
you got?
shoes,
What design you got?
I just have the regular black because I
Oh,
decorate. I
okay.
decorate. Well, my shoes are like my masterpiece kind of because
Oh,
I wear
good.
different, but I've had all the AFOs ever.
Yep.
And I've had
Yep.
Richie braces. So I've
Okay.
been through it. Child, I get it.
Yeah.
I definitely,
We've got more equipment, like, and we're blessed, but he's like outgrown it all now because
yeah.
he was small when we got it, and now he's not as small. And so it's like, okay, what are we doing with all this equipment? Like, we'll look to donate,
Right.
we'll look to adapt how we
Mhm.
can, but I'm just like, it's a lot. It's a lot of pieces, and as they get
Yeah.
bigger, the equipment gets bigger. And so where's this 3-in-1 like stander,
Yeah.
walker, and you know,
Right. Where's
gait
the three
trainer
in one
type
piece?
thing? Like
Right.
where is this thing?
Yeah.
His
No, I
wheelchair
totally.
comes into 3 pieces that has to like go in and out of our car in 3 pieces. Like it's just like I think about emergencies, right? Like I was saying that earlier today. I was like, I don't run with like anxiety as like my baseline, but or like walking around like the what ifs, right? But in those scenarios when we're going to the hospital and we have to go to the third floor for services, or it's like God forbid there's an emergency, like I have to put this wheelchair and it's not set up. It's 3 pieces that I can't just
Mm,
plop them in it, I can't just like, okay, unfold, let's go, like no, it's an assembly, right? It's an assembly to break it down. It's an assembly to build it together. And so those things kind of like concern you. It doesn't stay at top of mind regularly, but it does periodically too,
mhm.
so it's just and he's getting heavier. So it's we're at
Right.
86 pounds. So we still have the strength. Dad just recently had surgery. So, navigating like, okay, now I'm really the only one that in his life that can pick him up by ourselves. And, I'm blessed that I'm still able to do so. But, you know, I'm hoping that that continues to be the case where the two of us can
Mhm.
continue to lift him. But, as we're hoping that at some point he will walk, or he will be able to kind of move about in a way that is helpful to us as well. So
Right.
but that means
Yeah.
diaper changes aren't, there's multiple hills we're dying on for him, and one of them is also
Mhm.
like, I know it's not aesthetic and cute, but like let's get some full size changing tables into the bathrooms because like
Yeah,
the
bro.
parents with little kids can use them, and guess what, it saves the day for people who do need them that are larger,
Yeah.
and taller and bigger. And so because guess what, 50 we've surpassed 50 pounds years ago, so
Right. No,
on
I
changing
totally get that.
tables.
You're right. Let's
There's
demand.
so many directions.
Right. No, I totally. Yeah. Let's demand changing tables. But you did mention that your son is nonverbal. So as a
Correct.
mom, how do you navigate teaching him, and what ways do you teach someone that is nonverbal?
I'm currently learning that. I will be fully honest in that because I just started a recent certification on infant and early childhood mental health, and it talks
Hmm.
a lot about. Today I like cried throughout the whole training because it's talking a lot about giving and receiving as if you were to do with an infant who is nonverbal, right? And so
Hmm.
all those behaviors are communication, all those, body language is communication. And so I still feel like I'm in that stage with him. And so I also I put the connection together of like I grew up as an only child. So like being silent is very natural to me. Although I'm a talker and I'm a very social person, I
Hmm.
don't catch my I have to be conscious of like having dialogue with him, even
Right.
though it's more of me speaking and then him interacting in his own way, right? And so like continuing to carry conversations versus just me going into my own little world in my head, right? And being grateful for almost the silence or like not having to have conversation, right? Whereas like
Right.
you have other parents on the other side and they're like, I can't get 2 seconds of peace, right? Like I can't get 2 seconds of not having words come out of their mouth. And so I see the value, I see the value in both, and I can see the appreciation in both and have empathy for both, right? And so
Right.
um but that at that conscious level. So I think really we know him, right? We can tell the cries that are just like the superficial like you're just mad because, your show changed on the iPad and you can't figure out, how to change it, and we aren't can't tell what show you want either anymore, like because he's changing
Hmm.
his preferences, but we're like, bud, we don't know what you want. We've cycled through them now and we don't
Right.
know. So like
Right.
you can tell that frustration versus like if he's hungry, right? Or if he's maybe starting to feel a little unwell and under the weather and he's just, wanting to be a little bit more clingy. So from the cries you can hear, he's generally, we're very blessed, he's very generally like a happy-go-lucky kid. His temperament is easy. He's usually always clapping and, in the mix, right? You try and tilt his wheelchair
Hmm.
backwards, or he used to have he's always just like sitting up. Like he
Yeah.
wants to be involved. He's like me. So in his socialization, but
Right.
yeah, I think it's just kind of, you kind of start running through as if you had an infant, right? Of like running through that checklist. When was the last time they ate? When was the last time they drank? When was the last time they had a diaper change? And so when was their last nap, or when, are they tired? And so kind of running through that list and thinking of that hierarchy of needs, right? Thinking of Maslow's hierarchy and making sure that that's all good. Is it temperature, right? And then if that's all kind of covered, then you kind of engage in different ways, right? And so he does go to school. He's gone to school since he was 3, and so he's in therapies there. We love the school. um the next thing that I want to ask about is he's biting a lot more, and so I want to,
Hmm.
he was always a mouthy kid, but like he's reaching to go bite more, and now we've got 4 or 5 adult teeth, so now
Hmm.
now things are starting to hurt a little bit more. So I want to kind of talk to somebody how to redirect those behaviors, in a way that he understands,
Right.
because yelling at him isn't appropriate, and again, he's not making that link, and so how can I make that redirection to where it makes sense, right? We have
Right.
chewy tubes, we have other tools, but it's not making that connection, or it's not satisfying that sensory need, or you know I can't figure out what that behavior is triggered by, right? If it's dental, if it's frustration, if it,
Hmm.
sensory, right? So that's that guess and check that's happening all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that. Yeah, because you're trying to pinpoint where the
Yeah.
source, like where is it coming from.
Yep.
So, how did you get into? Because you did say that you were a caregiver to many more people. So, how did you get into that life?
From this, I think, again, I was just kind of naturally born, like a healer, naturally born a caregiver in a sense. My mom used to tell me stories that like in the grocery store, I would just like walk up to like maybe a kid who was fussing, and I would just kind of like stand by them, and like I always just had a calm energy, and so
Hmm.
like they would stop crying and like they would smile, and so then I wanted to like be a teacher growing up, because I was like, I want to help kids and I want to help people, and so kept following that path. And then I learned what a social worker was, and then I knew that I saw, when I toured the school, I had seen an umbrella that said social work on, and all the little
Hmm.
raindrops were all the different like people and populations and
Hmm.
agent, places you could work with social work. And at that time I still wasn't like pinpointed on like this is definitely what I want to do, but I know I want to help people was kind of like still that guiding conversation, that guiding path.
Hmm.
And then I was like, okay, this is it. And then I like learned, a little bit more about clinical work. And so then I worked at an agency, doing like partial care work. So working with severe mental illness and, navigating that. And then, managing burnout, getting pregnant, going outpatient, like doing all that stuff, right? Don't know
Oh,
how to
that's
do one
right.
thing at one time. And so then I eventually opened up my private practice. And then, it wasn't until Zach started to kind of show delays, and we were navigating everything, and we always had supportive friends, had supportive community, but I was burning out, like I guess we're post pandemic. I don't know. I feel like it's like still in this lingering like BC or AC now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
BC and AC,
yeah.
like before COVID and after COVID. But
Right,
I felt like I had so many one-on-one clients throughout the pandemic that I still feel like I can't recover at that level of capacity of seeing my one-on-one people. And so I want to get back into doing a little bit more group work, get back into building community. And so while I'm not charging anything for the actual Facebook group or things of that nature, I want to continue to build so that there is some sort of membership for caregivers on burnout and self-care. But right now it's a Facebook group. We grew it to 1,200 people in just over a year. We hit 1,000 right before we hit a year, near his birthday. So that was created like poolside. Like I just want to create more community because as much as I love the international Facebook groups and the larger groups, because his diagnosis is so broad, like I'm in this like hypotonia parent group that's got, thousands of parents in there and caregivers, and but I still feel lost, right? Or I don't feel connected to those parents because it's like, okay, like cool. And you also have concrete diagnoses, like go flood the other groups. Not because you're not welcomed here, but like I don't know where else to go. I
right.
don't know. And so I know that that sounds silly, but it's like, okay, if you have certain diagnoses, you have an entire association dedicated to that. You have entire foundations dedicated and advocating. But what about the families that are in the middle? Right? What about these families that like it's blatant that there's something going on, but there's no professional that you've seen can bring that to you. And so but then I also wanted to I think about future for him, right? And so we love his school, and so that was a really great way of like, wow, there's a community here, right? There's people that can understand, and it's like, okay, well, why can't we create something that's dedicated to Central Jersey primarily? So like, one, I'm lazy, I don't want to like travel super far. Like, so but it's also hard when you have a special needs child. Again, he's pretty good, but it's, a lot of parents might have a harder time with longer distances to drive their children, or, to drive themselves. And so trying to be mindful of creating like shorter distanced events. And, again, with all the time, I'm trying to make more events, but, and then just knowing like, okay, these are my people that are my next door neighbors. These are my people that are in the town next door, the next town over versus miles and miles and miles away, time zones away, right? And so it creates this another layer of comfort that like, oh, I can rely on you not only like through my DMs, right? Or in a Facebook group, but I can offer to watch your kid, or
Right.
we can go and play at the park together. We can ask for recommendations for pediatricians and other medical providers, and I know that they're within at least a drivable distance for us, because even
Right.
as much as I think New Jersey is a relatively small state, it's still far enough where like you could spend a couple hours driving, to a doctor's
From city to
appointment
yeah.
if like, and then, we branch over to CHOP a lot too. So that's the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And so, sometimes people go recommend Delaware. And so, because we're kind of at that cusp of everything. New York
Hmm.
is right by us. So it's you can at least kind of get recommendations that are like, okay, like I know, or like, okay, this is the New Jersey law on things, right? This is
Hmm.
the so that's what it feels like it helps to build a little bit of that sense of relief of like, okay, we can build this community out and know that like I'm gonna see these people and I can plan for dates and like we can actually make them happen, right?
Right. Right. No, I totally get that, and that's good because it's definitely hard when you kind of feel like you're in limbo and you feel like
Mhm.
no one really, like no one gets it. But then if you find at least a community of people that have some sort of an understanding because they're in that same boat, then that does make it a little bit less. It relieves it a little bit. So
Mhm.
I definitely get that. So for
And
you,
oh,
oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
Mhm.
No, no, go ahead. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Remember your question. And I tried to do the local, right? I tried to join, buddy balls, and I tried to join, but when your child not only is nonverbal, but then has a physical disability on top of that,
Hmm.
it's a different ball game. We arrived, the lift didn't work. Guess what? Guess you're carrying the stroller down 13 stairs. not my fault. Like, and then they're like, "Oh, well, you could carry him up and down the soccer field." He was 60 pounds at that time. Like, no, I can't. Like, not for an hour.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you're right.
like this isn't inclusive. And so like that's my biggest piece of it too, is like that these are other hills that we're dying on, right? Like the inclusivity. The school next door to us just got um closed, and so they're building out a park, and we were able to kind of help to influence that design. I made the mayor pinky promise. I said, please pinky promise me that Zach can play on this playground.
Hmm.
Like I could show you the window. Like it's
Yeah,
literally, we share property line. And so they made an effort to really try to make it an inclusive design,
yeah,
and they didn't give me a lot of pushback, but I also know like they're not only just building it for him, but it's like,
right.
please, please, please make, don't it was kind of like, oh, we'll do tiered play space. And I said, okay, like that's not really gonna work, but okay. Like I said, maybe this is the universe's way of saying like this is a way for Zach to like practice pulling himself up and being
Yeah.
optimistic, right? Like, which there's a time and place for that too.
Hmm.
But I sat on it and I was like, you know what? I don't think so. I said, let me paint a picture. I said, within 5 to 10 minutes, I'm lifting 80 to almost 100 pounds
Yeah.
multiple times in just a 5 to 10 minute span,
Right.
plus a wheelchair that I can't lift in one unit. So, right, breaking that back down in three
Hmm.
pieces to put it on the next stop. The kids are running laps around us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just so
Right.
we can play. No. And
Yeah.
so they had kind of switched the design. So we're hoping for more ramped access and more, but they were receptive. They were receptive once they heard the the extra layers that needed to go into it,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. It makes complete sense because they probably weren't aware.
Yeah, you're right,
So
right, and it's not out
now,
of malice, it's not out of, "I want to
mhm,
exclude your child." It's just like,
right.
"Well, why what?" Sure, we're flipping through the magazines and playbooks of inclusive play and this, that, and the third, and these look great. Not
Hmm.
knowing, right? Not realizing, not putting it
Exactly.
to I've asked the children's hospital, as I said, "Why aren't there more full-size changing tables?" "Oh, we didn't think about it. The beachfront pool, it's connected to a 3 to 21 school for disabilities." I said, "You guys of all people would have thought that the that the changing tables would have been adequate." And they're like, "Oh," and I said, "Where do they change?" I said, "Do they take them back to the classroom to get out of the wet clothes?" And they said, "No, they change them in the bathroom." I said, they cannot be doing it safely."
Right.
I
Right.
I I can't picture how they're doing it safely, and it's not to be a Karen or to, cause complaint. It's just I don't wanna risk harming myself, harming my child, and I'm okay being that voice for other children as well,
Hmm.
right? For other families that need, that are afraid to speak up or don't know that they even have the opportunity to speak up, or, I do it in a way that comes from a place of understanding and knowing that they're not doing it on purpose. It's just not in their face.
Right.
It's
Right.
not, I
Yeah.
thought our university was super accessible until my grandmother tried to come to graduation, and like graduation's in the middle of the lawn, and it's like good luck getting her down the hill from where you took pictures. Like I'm like, sorry,
Yeah.
abuelita, like I thought
Right.
go
Right.
to
My bad.
support.
Yeah.
So
No, totally get that. Yeah. It's definitely for us to make it aware because people just don't know and they don't think about it if they're not in that, if they're not visible to it,
mhm,
if this is not the life that they live, then they just don't think about it. But I
right.
totally get that. So for you, like, what is the biggest um misconception that people have toward you being a caregiver to someone that you don't have the answers to? What's the biggest misconception?
um I think what his future looks like, or like, will he walk? Will he, kind of getting asked those questions that like you don't know those answers to.
Right.
I don't mind the questions that are phrased. We had like, what's wrong with him? Like
Hmm.
I'm okay with the insensitive wording. Because again, I think it comes from a lot I from a lot of times, again, just out of curiosity, right? And not necessarily always knowing how to filter.
Right.
I did make the mistake one time of asking another child who I think may have been on the spectrum, he was making some observations, or I was like, "Oh, you're at speech, you're at therapy." And he's like, "Yeah." And I made the mistake of asking, like, "What do you think about Zach?" And he didn't answer very nicely, but as much as like I wanted to cry and like teach, I was like, "No, like that means someone in his world is like his dad was like, and that's his diagnose, like his uh uh like disability." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "That's the language that you're using around him to like for him to know." And I was like, "No, like I don't want that." But again, it wasn't malice on that. But I think, yeah, I think it's just the future. I think it's just the, will he walk? Will he talk? Why doesn't he?
Mhm.
My favorite though is when little kids are like, "Is he a baby?" Like I don't mind those questions, because
Yeah.
he's like defying the differences of like,
Right.
babies don't walk, right? Babies
Right.
don't talk. So like you have
Mhm.
to be a baby. And it's like, no, he's actually 6. And and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "He's older than me." And so it's just really cute, to see that. And again, like, just, I'm okay having those conversations. I'm
Yeah.
okay having, you know, I kind of have no other choice, right? So
Right. And it
um
brings awareness too, to be honest,
yeah.
because people sometimes they ask naive questions unknowingly
Mhm.
because they're not exposed to that world. But it also gives um, awareness for future visuals because we are here.
Yep.
Like we're not going
Yep.
nowhere. So
Yep.
you're going to see more than one of us, maybe in different aspects, maybe looking a
Mhm.
little different, but we're not. But we here, and we
Yeah.
gonna stay here, and we there's probably going to be an even larger growing community of us because that's just that's just the way God made us. God made
Yeah.
somebody with something. Everybody got something. Ours is just visual. Like that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm blessed for my partner, his dad. He's phenomenal and super grounded, super chill, and always reminds me of the greater picture too. Excuse me,
Yeah.
always reminds me of, the blessings that we do have, and
Hmm.
just like the again, I think his temperament really really makes it a really beautiful thing for us too, because despite everything, he goes in the other way where he becomes tearful of like, he didn't do anything to anybody, like
Right.
he
Right.
didn't, and like, why has he got, a life that's challenging and hard and, uncertain. But again, the facts that we do know, and we remind each other of that when we go into those
Hmm.
headspaces, like, but he is happy on that day to day. He is
Yeah.
thriving, in the capacity that he can, and it's a beautiful thing. So
Right.
we're really really blessed.
So for you and your partner, do you guys have moments to where you're able to um, kind of be you without having the caregiver hat on?
With Zach also with us, or like just the two of us?
Just you being because you're a mom, you're also a person,
Mhm.
but
Right.
then you like with taking off the caregiving hat. What do you do to
Uh,
relieve yourself?
um, well, it's gonna tie back to him, so don't yell at me. But
I'm not.
I started CrossFit. It was one of those things. So I'm plus sized, and and I had already wanted to try and start doing something to like get better, like get more in shape and be healthier. And so, but I never stuck to anything. Like I just wasn't like a workout person. And so I had started CrossFit as, it was just something that we were interested in. We have gone to the games a couple times, which was really cool.
Hmm.
And so I eventually found a gym that I loved, and continue to go and love. But what helps me and like what gives me the confidence to keep going is because I'm able to lift up Zach. My ADHD also loves it because I'm like, ooh, I added like 5 more pounds to my barbell. I'm like, ooh, I got it. Like there's every like 15 minutes, it's something a little bit different, for the rest of the class. And so you're like, yeah, you got this. I love the like community and like the praise of like, yo, come on. Except all the other day, I was like the last one doing my jump ropes, and I was like, no, I'm done. I'm tapping out. This is where I tap out. No. But like I feel like I take a win each time. And so it's a dual thing where like I go for myself and I enjoy it, and it's something that is really really fun for me, but then I also am grateful that it's giving me that strength to be able to continue to lift him up. And so sometimes even in class I'm like, you could lift 20 pounds, you lift 86 on a regular, like come on,
Right.
you can
Yeah.
do, okay, I was able to do a back squat at 135 pounds the other day, and I was like, okay, like great, at least I can squat more than what Zach
Right.
weighs,
Yeah.
like we're good.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of like my benchmark to progression. And so I love it. I want to eventually start seeing doing sort of like functional movement classes with parent caregiver peer support programs, like
Hmm. Hmm.
to talk about like like preparing our bodies, because our spouses can become ill and we have to take care of them, or our
Right.
friends, our parents, our siblings, and so you don't start training your body to start lifting 200 pounds of dead weight overnight, or 150 pounds, 100 pounds even. And so God forbid something happens, you want to kind of be able to prepare. And so talking about those hard, like the heaviness, right? The weight of also that caregiver piece of it. And
Hmm.
so because I'm a social worker, I was like, okay, like that kind of all comes together. And that's a big part of like what I want to see and take the group to on that next level, is just like that caregiver burnout. I recharge by socializing. So being around people, doing a variety of things. That's why I like the CrossFit community. I like and we're kind of shifting a little bit away from like CrossFit in its traditional sense, and um moving to more of that functional movement, and just um just again, just kind of that community of strength training. And
Hmm.
so I'm really excited for that shift. And then I have lots of friends, and I think that that's a part of why I wanted the group as well, is because like they are my friends, they're my peers, and that's why I want more peer support programs. I don't put me on a pedestal. I even tell my clients that I see in my practice, I'm like, I'm not on a pedestal. Like
Right.
I've got the ADHD, I'm sure y'all can tell, like, I'm hot mess too. Like, listen, I am here with you. Like I am, when I say I understand, I understand.
Right. Right.
I'm not trying to pretend that I'm somebody that I'm not. And, I think a lot of my clients value that and appreciate that. And
Hmm.
so while they're not my friends, like I do enjoy that, because those are the conversations that I look forward to. I have a bunch of therapist friends that are also in the community. So we're all just trying to stay afloat and manage our burnout and make sure we're taking care of ourselves, make sure that we're doing what we need to do in order to continue to work. And so I think that that's why I'm constantly seeing shifts in my businesses too, so that I can really make it something that's sustainable, not only for me, but for my family. And
Right.
so I feel like I'm constantly in seasons of change and growth and adaptability, right? But like,
Right.
who's better to teach me that but Zach? So,
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with the seasons of changing, because
no.
that's how you become greater. And
Yep.
I definitely agree with that.
Yep.
One, I want to thank you so so much for being a guest on the show. I definitely appreciate it. I love your transparency. I love the fact. First of all, you're dope. Like, let's just start there.
So are
Like,
you.
you're you're super dope, and I appreciate it. Can you tell everyone where they can find you? How well? Because I want to be a part of the group, but how people can be a part of your Facebook group? How can they follow you and find you? Like, what you doing?
Yeah, please, 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 please. I have this vision. I really do. I want a podcast. I finally figured out what my podcast name is going to be. I've got my friend Angie Jordan. She's amazing. She's going to help me get all my stuff, all my ducks in a row, all my stuff to like actually commit to it this time. So hopefully a podcast will be coming out. But no, not even hopefully. A podcast will be coming out.
Right.
But Central Jersey Special Needs Community, even if you are not in New Jersey, please, please join. Say I was on, I was listening to Domo and you talk and, chat about a whole lot of everything. But join the Facebook group. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Send me DMs. I love chatting. Sometimes it'll take me a couple days to get back, but listen, I will eventually get back to you. But that's my plan, is being able to, just really connect and have conversations. I'd love to, be a guest. I've written an anger management workbook for moms. That was even I had already had Zach at that time, but like really kind of come into terms with like, okay, is he delayed? Special needs, this, that, and the third.
Right.
And so, but really, the case studies are the only thing about moms. So if you're not even a mom, you're noticing that you need to manage your anger or manage other emotions, that's on Amazon. And yeah, I got lots of things. I got lots of hats, but I like if I do the same thing over and over, I get burnt out. So like
Right. Yeah.
I got lots of stuff. I'm also the VP of the Latinx Therapist Project, but Instagram, Facebook group is where it's at. That's kind of like my biggest one at the moment. And yeah, hopefully a podcast very soon.
Yes, so let's go. Thank you so much.
All of the things.
Everyone follow her. Listen, I'm
Yeah.
following everything. I'm
Yeah.
following it
And
all.
we're talking about like the main thing that I'm really seeing for that podcast is like having other guests, on there, providers, caregivers, and people with disabilities, as well as really talking about those strategies for burnout and self-care, right? And like
Right.
sustainable. I always tell my clients, I'm like, all right, like therapy 101, like take a deep breath. Did you write it
Yeah.
out? Like,
Yeah.
like,
No, I
but bring
totally
it
get
back to basics.
it.
Like we're
Right. Yeah.
stressed out because we're not remembering to breathe. We're stressed out
Exactly. Right.
because we're like,
Right.
practice gratitude,
Exactly.
right? Like I
Exactly.
know it's simple and I know it's played out, but like, did you try it? Like,
Right. Yes. No, for
like,
I totally get that for sure.
so
Yeah.
it's like
I appreciate
literally
it.
bite sized because that's all I can handle is like bite sized self care, bite sized little
Right.
burnout tips. So
Right. Bite size self care for sure.
bite
Yeah.
size.
I definitely agree. I appreciate it so much for you being a guest on the show. I don't take it lightly. Everyone go follow her. Gabe's gonna put you in the back, and we're about to end the show, and then we're about to be in there like swim where.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Listen, I told y'all gonna okay, because y'all gonna listen to me. I told y'all my guests be on point. Like Lena was super dope. Like we friends now. Now she's stuck with me and it's crazy. That's crazy. Like now she's stuck with me and she don't even know. Well, she know now because she listening. But I appreciate her for coming on. I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate the insight that she has, and also just sharing what her world looks like as a mom to a caregiver, and then also being a caregiver to others and helping others. Uh, Good looking out, Devin. And I do appreciate it so much. All right, so real quick because I'm hungry, so I don't know what y'all doing. House rules. No, we already did the house rules. What are we talking about? Church announcements. Come on, Domo. Don't act like you haven't been doing this for so long. All right, church announcements. If you have a disability and or medical condition, or you are an essential caregiver and you want to be a guest on the show, holla at me. Let me know what's up. Like, let me know because you could be a guest on the show. Bars. But Domo, you are top tier tonight. All right, so if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you know someone that wants to be a guest on the show, holla at me. Let me know what's up. Like, let me know. Here is the disclaimer. I'm gonna need you to have a disability or a medical condition, or you need to be an essential caregiver. Don't be coming up here with a paper cut. Don't be coming up here. You ran into the wall. Turn on the light and get some Neosporin and go on about your business. And get a pack of ice. Get a Ziploc bag, put some ice in it, and go on about your business. Don't be coming up here talking about your ear hurt. What that got to do with me? Turn down the volume of the TV. Dog nabbit. I tell you, I'm gonna need some real life stuff because, as y'all know, my guests be real life. Uncle Delvin, love you. My guests be talking about some real life stuff. So don't be coming up here trying to figure out what you need to talk about. Because I ain't making up questions. I ain't trying to come up with stuff with, child, you better bring some real life child, you better bring like some real life situations. We ain't playing no games right here. All right, also, next Tuesday we live in living color, like for real, like that's crazy. Next Tuesday we live. Y'all know my guest about to be super dope. 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 10 p.m. Eastern. We live. Like, yeah. Okay, so real quick. Can you put that down? Because I need everybody to see my finger. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is our we changed the color because this month is Disotone Gabe. put up the name? Can you please put up? Can you please put up the name because I ain't about to get cut out the community because I didn't say the name right. Gabe, Gabe, Gabe. You can't just be having me up here looking half. Thank you. This month is Dysautonomia Awareness Month. And for those that don't know, because I just found out, this month is that condition, that specific medical condition, are for those that have irregular blood pressures, temperature, their temperature regulates high and low, their heart rate irregulates. So it's definitely an autoimmune. Thank you, Gabe. It's definitely an autoimmune condition that people deal with. A lot of times we don't know, we only know one ribbon for this month, and that's breast cancer awareness. But there are so many others, and I am going to make it my duty to bring awareness to all of them because people be dealing with some real life stuff. And why not? Because it's my show and I can do what I want. So this is the color of the ribbon. And this cut, matter of fact, don't they match my earrings? Okay, because I didn't even know. And they match my earrings. Like, that's crazy. Matchy matchy. Tattoo. Okay. Yeah, so for those that deal with that condition, we support you on this show and we will bring awareness to you. Thank you for being you. All right, so we out there. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I appreciate everyone for commenting. I appreciate all y'all. Like, I really do. And I'm going to say it every single episode because you guys did not have to watch and see what we're talking about. Like, you guys didn't have to. Don't log off, though, because you already know. Like, there's about to be an ending. So, I love y'all, though. All right, Gabe, get me out of here because I want some chicken. I love y'all. Period. And y'all better love me too. Alright. Gabe, get me out of here. Y'all already know what to do. Until next time. Love you.